My name is Tom, and this is the first video and first post for my new personal finance blog, Corey Feast. Link in the description, you know the deal. This might not be the best produced video, but hopefully I get better over time. In this video, I'm going to show you how I set up ThinkOrSwim charts for day trading on a single monitor. My setup allows me to actively trade up to 8 tickers on a single monitor, although 4 is more comfortable. I played a lot of online poker in my life, and I'm used to having a ton of things going on in front of me on the screen. Some games I would have dozens of poker tables running at once, so I'm pretty okay with this. Some of you might find this overwhelming, but you still might get something from watching this. I do have screens for fewer active trades. After showing you my setup, I'll show you step by step how I created the setup. In doing so, you can learn about how to use ThinkOrSwim's flexible charts. They're really powerful, but they're also a bit confusing if you're new to the platform. If you're not familiar with ThinkOrSwim, it's TD Ameritrade's trading platform. It's a software you can use to trade stocks, forex, options, etc. in your TD Ameritrade brokerage account. It's free to download and use. If you don't have a TD Ameritrade account, you can set one up with a small deposit, and there are no commissions, which is really nice. I don't have any incentive for saying any of this. I genuinely think the software is great. You can even use it to trade in paper money to practice before actually making a deposit, but some features won't work. For any poker people watching, paper money is play money. There's also a nice feature called On Demand where you can go back in time and replay a day and see if you could do something better. And that's come in really helpful. Ideally, you'll want to have multiple monitors, but if you're just starting out, you don't want to invest a lot of money in hardware. You can get by with just one. I currently have 2 monitors, but since I'm day trading while doing other work, I only have 1 monitor dedicated to trading when I'm day trading. It took me a couple months to set this up. It took me a couple months to set up ThinkOrSwim to where I was happy with it, and I wanted to share it with others, because this could be pretty confusing. If you find this video helpful, please give it a like to let me know. Leave a comment since this is a new channel for me, and if you want to further motivate me to make more videos if you like this, since they take a lot of time, please subscribe and you'll be notified when new ones are added. I'm going to start with an overview of ThinkOrSwim. If you're already familiar with it, you can fast forward to my setup. Check the description or someplace on the screen for where to go. I'm still trying to figure this out, so hopefully by edit time I'll know where to put it. Before we talk about anything else, we need to talk about linking. 3 months ago, I didn't know how to use ThinkOrSwim at all. When I first opened it up, I was completely confused. I was double-clicking things like an idiot and right-clicking things pointlessly, trying to pull up charts and fundamentals on tickers returned in scans. Nothing was happening, and I was really frustrated. There are different components throughout the software, and a lot of them can be unlinked or linked to one of 9 numbers, 1 through 9, that are also color-coded. 1 is red, 2 is yellow, 3 is blue, 4 is green, 5 is purple, 6 is maroon, 7 is orange, 8 is brown, and 9 is lilac. Linking is very important. Until I figured it out, the software wasn't very useful. If you have 2 gadgets that are both linked to the same color, if you enter a ticker symbol in one gadget, the ticker symbol will be loaded into the other gadget automatically because they're linked by the same color. So here's an example. We have this chart here with 2 cells, and each cell is linked to blue, number 3. Now if I type ticker symbol in here, let's type in Tesla, and I hit enter, it's going to load in the data in this chart, but at the same time it's also going to load in the data in this symbol, which is news. This one is the chart, this one is news. And just because they're linked to blue, it's going to pull it out. So if I change the symbol now to something else like Oracle, the news is going to link to Oracle as well. So wherever control is linked to that color in the platform, the ticker will update. If we go to the trade tab, for example, we'll notice that up here you can link this, and this line, this trade control, will be linked to whatever is linked in red. We could change this one to red on the trade grid. There's 3 trade grids. We can link this one to lilac, link this one to brown, and then whenever we change that, wherever there's a 9 linked to 9, it'll have Prudential. Wherever it's an 8, I'll have Oracle. Wherever it's a 1, I'll have PTE, and we'll change this to Tesla right there, just so we could get some data, since it's after hours, and that's one of the stocks that's very active after hours. So if we go to the Analyze tab, we can also link that to red. And by default, none of these are linked. You'll have to go in there and link them. So in the Analyze tab, if we go into the risk profile, that's linked. We go to probability analysis, that's like economic data. It's not going to come up right now. If we go to fundamentals, that's linked red. If we go to earnings, that's linked red. And when you first set up the software, this will be unlinked. So you'll want to set it up to something. For me, I put red as the main link within the main application. For other charts, I use different colors. I'll go over that in a little bit. But also, one thing to notice is that the watch list is also linked to red, and you can't really see this right now. There we go. All right, so this watch list is linked to red, and so is this quick chart. So if I click on something in the watch list, it's going to change everything that's clicked on red. So that's how you get all the data you want in all the tabs, by linking everything together. It would have been nice if it came kind of with some default link and everything to make things work out of the box, but it doesn't. But it's really easy to change once you know what it is. So now let's go on to charts. There are three types of chart groupings. There's your normal standard chart, you have a flexible grid, and then you have the product depth. Product depth is related to options and futures, and that's not really something I know a lot about, so I'm not going to go over it right now. I will go over charts and flexible charts. Okay, so let's take a look at the plain charts right now. If we go in, we just have a basic chart. We can put in a ticker symbol right here. It's not linked, we can link it, but I'll just type something in right now. And it pulls up a chart, and the default chart is a 1 year, 1 day chart. It's a candlestick chart. It has a volume on the bottom as the price. And if it was active trading hours, it would, well, it's a daily chart, so it wouldn't move all that much. But this shows the price history up here, shows the volume down here. There's also some more information you can find in here. Right here next to the ticker, you'll find the button where you can link it to different colors. Next to that, you'll find the description of the ticker, or the name of the company. Next to that is the current price, and then next to that is the gain and percent gain for the current period for the day, the bid and the ask up here, and some things you should keep in mind. Any place you see a price on ThinkOrSwim, if it's red, that means the price just went down. If it's green, it means the price just went up. So the bid went down, but the ask went up. If we go on to the right side, well, before we do that, let's there's this bar on the bottom of the chart, gives you information, tells you the ticker, the time frame, the exchange it's traded on, and then there's some information here. D is the date. So as we move the crosshairs over the chart, the date's going to change. When we're over a candle, or when any part of the crosshairs is over a candle, it's going to tell you the opening price of that candle, the high of that candle, the low of that candle, and where the candle closed. So where the period closed. It'll also give you the range, R, which will be the length of the candle from top to bottom, including the length. And then Y is the current position of the crosshairs on the price axis. Now, the ThinkOrSwim charts are very powerful. There's a lot of stuff you could do. We'll go over more details later, but just a brief overview. You can click this button here on the toolbar, and you can share the chart. It'll give you a link. It'll put it online, and it'll give you a link where you can share it. Then we have this button here, which is the chart describer. It gives you some text that describes what's going on in the chart. I don't really use this that much. This button here that looks like a flask brings up the Edit Studies and Strategies dialog box. This is where you'll put in your indicators and other things like moving averages. So you put in like a simple moving average here, double click on that, puts it here, hit apply, and we see we have a 9 period moving average added to the chart here. We could also have other indicators like MACD. It kind of looks cool. So we'll hit apply, and that's going to come up on a separate screen on the bottom here. But let me just remove all that, and we'll go over some of the stuff later. Let's go on to the next button. This is the chart settings. You'll have the settings for the general settings for the chart here. Again, go over that more later. This button with the D, that shows the current time frame. This is a daily chart, so it's the D. So it's a 1-day time frame. We could select from a group of favorites. We could customize this list, and then we could go into time frame. Set the aggregation type, time, tick, or range. Is it an intraday chart, a daily chart? We set an intraday, daily. Intraday, the time interval will be this will be the time interval is the length of the chart, how much data is on the chart. And it could be today, what WTD, I forgot what that was. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, all the way up to 360 days. On the daily chart, it starts with year to date, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 3 months. The aggregation period is going to be 2 days, a day, 2 days, 3 days, and so on. On the intraday, it's going to be in minutes to hours. Then you could do a custom one as well. This is the style menu. You can also get to the style settings dialog box from here, but also and the time frame setup, data box mode, chart type. You guys are probably already familiar with this. I'm using the candle, which is a default, the most popular one. Price type, if you want it to be the last, the bid, the ask, the mark. You could print the chart, share the chart. That was the button we did before. Set this as a default chart so that anytime you open a new chart, it'll be this one. And then reset to the chart to the default so that whatever was set as a default will be reset to that. So you could use this as like copy chart settings, paste chart settings, which is what I do. And then you can reset it to the factory default, which is where we're already at. After you set up your style, you could save the style, and then you could load the style later on, or then delete it if you don't need it anymore, if you made a mistake. The next button here is for drawings, and this allows you to do some technical analysis on the chart. And there's a bunch of different drawing tools you can use. This is not the best way to access the drawing tools. There is this toolbar on the bottom that has the active tool showing, and you could select from the list of tools. But the easiest way to do it is just to pick any spot in the chart and click the middle button, the middle mouse button, and you could choose whatever you want. You could set a line on a price. Let's say you want to add some level of support, or let's say, right? You'd add it here. And there you go. You have a line there. I like these regression channels. Oops, where are we? The two parallel lines with an R, where you'll click on a candle there, and then you click on an ending candle, and then it'll draw this channel automatically for you, which I think is really nice. You go into drawings, and you could remove all the drawings right there. But this is really neat for setting your levels of support and resistance and any other technical analysis you might do with drawings. Way too much to go over in this video, but just know that it's there and where it is, and you can find out how to use it later. We have studies here, and this is the same thing we had in the other button, but there's some more menus as far as like you could save if you have a bunch of studies, you could save the study set, and then you can load it back later. So if you have a bunch of studies you use together, you can quickly load them into a chart if you need to. We have patterns. If you're a pattern day trader, like if you see certain things happening in the candles, this can help you find them, help point them out to you, like an engulfing pattern. Let's load that up, apply, and we see we have a bunch of them coming up. And just because there's a pattern doesn't necessarily mean that it's a sure thing. Like this one indicates that the price is going to move down, but this obviously went up. Not only did it go up, it went way up over the next few days. And well, because it's Tesla, and that's apparently all Tesla knows how to do is go up. So let's clear that out and keep going. We could zoom in over here by clicking the plus button or the minus button. We could also zoom in if we have a tool selected by just highlighting the area we want to zoom into. Then to zoom out, we just double click. Another way we could zoom in is by just grabbing the timeline and dragging it to the left to zoom in. And we could do the same thing with the price chart. Zoom in and then again, double click and then zoom out. We have this toolbar menu here, which has all the other menus within it, and you'll see why this is important later on. But basically, if the chart is too small, you're not going to see these other buttons. So you need one place where you can access everything from, and this is where you access it from. So you can load your studies, your drawings, your styles from here, and edit your style settings and so forth. On the right-hand side, you'll see another sidebar which has some more gadgets. These are all the gadgets that can be loaded into a chart. So right now we have a chart. We can put a trade button. We could put time and sales button. We could put active trader button. We could put big buttons, chart, phase scores, which gives you some fundamental information if you expand this. A dashboard, there's a few different ways of entering trades. That's one of them. Level 2 quotes and live news. And you could also have multiple ones together. So you can have a chart along with level 2, time and sales, active trader, and news. This is actually a pretty good setup to day trade. You have all the information you'll need, or you have a lot of the information you'll need. You will obviously want to change the time frame for the chart to a daily chart, not a daily chart, to whatever chart you trade on. If you trade on a 5-minute chart or whatever, you could adjust the sizes of these components because these don't need to be that big. So it's gotten pretty late, so there's no activity, but you would see time and sales here. So, and you have buttons here to buy at the market, sell at market. You can send different orders. You can do an OCO, brackets, and you can even save your own bracket information. What's cool about Active Trader here is if I click on one of these cells, it'll put in a limit sell order. And over here, it'll put, on the top, it'll put stop order. On the bottom of the current level, well, where are we? Yeah, there's nothing moving, so it's not finding, there we go. So you could do a limit or a stop order depending where you are on the graph. I tried to do this earlier where things were moving, but wasn't doing it. Just know it's going to center to the current price, and above and below, it's going to be different prices. It shows you the price levels, and you could enter your trades in here. And it's also like a combination of a trade entry place, as well as kind of like seeing your limit 2 quotes, level 2 quotes. So it's pretty neat. Now this is just one cell. You're able to open up to 24 cells at a time. So if you want to trade more stocks, you can do the same thing, and you can load a different ticker in here. You know, do the same thing, set up your level 2, your news, active trader, and the trading times. And you could set up the size wherever you want. You could load something else in here. One cool thing is you could drag and drop from like your watch list to here, and then drop, let's say, drag and drop this one here. So it's pretty neat. I don't use these charts, these plain charts, so much for trading. What I would normally do is I've set up a bunch of different, I saved some different setups so that if I go here, it'll load up, let's say, 24 1-day 2-minute charts. And what I can do now is I can go here, click this button, and load symbols to cells. So there's a bunch of different things you could load. Some public ones like, you know, different types, different categories, as well as like top 10 gain, top 10 losers. You also load your personal watch list as well as your scans. So your scans could be loaded into this directly. So right now I can load in the my potential movers watch list, which I keep at the top by putting a little dash next to it. This shows me the trades I'll be interested in keeping an eye on during the day. And we don't need all 24, so I can limit it down to like 5x2. And I just keep an eye on this in the morning and see what I want to trade. And one thing you could do is you could detach this so that now it's open. You could alt tab between that and other things, and like you could go into your scans and do stuff and then come back here, or you could go into your trading windows and come here. Pretty much any gadget that's out there can be detached, which is really neat. So like this in the morning, this is what I might be looking at, the 1 minute, the 1 day, 2 minute chart, seeing what's going on. And then as I see something I'd like to trade, I'll load it up in one of my trading windows, which I'll go over right now. So the next type of grid type is a flexible grid. And this gives you a lot more power than the standard grid. So you have different cells, and each cell is identical to the standard grid where you could have all the different items in there. So let me just show you. Let me just put in something in here, because without it we won't see the sidebar. So here we have a sidebar, so we could turn on all the same things in here. That's usually not how I use it. Let me show you my day trading screen. This is a chart I set up that I used to day trade with. To day trade just one ticker. I have a 5-day, 5-minute chart here. I have a 1-day, 1-minute chart here. This is the one I trade off of. This is one I get some information from. And then I have the 1 year, 1 day, which I usually zoom into to set some levels and just have a look at. I have my news down here on the bottom left. I have active trader here. I have level 2, and I have time and sales. So what I have is I have 9 of these. I have 1 in red, yellow, blue, all the way from 1 to 9. So that if I'm looking at multiple stocks, and if I had multiple monitors, if you have multiple monitors, you could put one each on a different monitor. But this video isn't about multiple monitors, about not having multiple monitors. So one thing I also have is I have different variations where I might have 2 on the same screen. So on the top half of the screen, I have the same charts. I have the 5-minute, I have the 1 minute, I have the daily chart, I have the news, I have active trader, I have level 2, and I have time and sales. In the bottom I have same thing. 5-minute, 1 minute, 1 day, news, live, level 2, active trader, and time and sales. The only difference is this top half is all linked to number 8, brown, and all these gadgets here on the bottom are linked to number 9, lilac. I also have the same duplicate of this, except instead of 8 and 9, I have it with 6 and 7. So that when I am using both my monitors, I have 2 on one monitor, 2 on the other. And I have this set up, so this is 6 on top, 7 on the bottom, but the same exact things. One thing I noticed, every once in a while, the active trader stacks all the buttons on top, which takes a lot of space. Quickest way I found to fix that is to just click on the gear icon for the settings and then click OK, and that fixes it. I think if you just restore and then maximize the screen, that'll do it too. Yeah, that does it. That's probably faster because it'll do all of them at the same time. But same thing, same exact layout. All I did was I changed the colors on this. So I have 2. When I have 2 monitors going, I could do this. When I want to see more than 2, if I want to see 3 or 4, I also have this 4-screen setup. But before I get to that, this is the one I had in the beginning screen. But another cool thing I could do with the 2-up one cool thing you could do with Windows is you can drag the window by the title bar, just like you're moving it, and move it to the middle of the right-hand part of the screen. Or you could do this on the left, actually. And it will create a shadow on half the screen. Then when you let go, it's going to put that right on there. And then we could just go back to, let me minimize this, go back to our main screen. And what we could do is we could actually reduce the size of this so that we have our main screen here and then these things we're trading on the side. But we could also detach the scan window and then do the same thing here, where we drag it to left hand, and now we could scan stocks here and then analyze them in the trading window, in the trading charts, which is pretty neat. Let me just close that. Go back here. Now, if I'm trading more than 2 stocks, I could do open 2 of these because I have 2 of them, the 8, 9, and 6 and 7. But I also made these 4 up ones, and I always start, like I said, from the bottom up. So 6, 7, 8, 9 would go first, and I could put 4 symbols in here. I did more of a kaleidoscope design with this one, just because I wanted all my 5-minute charts to be right in the center. That way I could look from one to the other one very quickly without hunting around for anything, and these are the biggest charts on here. Since I mainly trade off the 5-minute charts, these are the most prominent, and my eyes don't have a lot of distance to travel from one to the other. And then everything else around the charts is the supporting charts. And I try to keep everything symmetrical. I couldn't put the time and sales, it just wasn't enough room, and I couldn't get level 2 on this size. But I do have active trader, which does have some of the information that's in level 2. I have my daily, I have the yearly chart, which really doesn't show much. It's basically, I could probably put in a level 2 right here now that I think about it. Let me give that a try. So, but basically why I have the daily chart here is I just want to be able to maximize it if I need it. That's the only way I could really work with it. It's too small to do anything else. So it's up there if I need it. I could draw lines if I need to, or look over anything. So that's pretty neat. And then click here and restore the cells. So it's on there just to be able to maximize it, not really to do anything else. So I have, each quadrant here is a different ticker. On the top left is 6, and on the bottom is 7. That's because on my 2 up charts, I have 6 on top, 7 on the bottom. So that way everything is visually the same. So if I start on the 2 up and then I go to more tickers, everything lines up with what it was before, and it just mentally makes things easier to remember what I was thinking with that particular ticker. On the right, I have 8 on top and 9 on the bottom. And I also have 2 of these. So if I do want to trade 8, I could just load up both of these, the 3 to 6, as well as the 6 to 9, and detach this one. And I'll just drag this to this side, and then put that on the other side, and there we go. We have 8 charts. So I have the centers here and the centers here, and some of the controls aren't as useful at this small. But if I really needed to, to trade 8 stocks at a time, which I don't right now, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing, I can do it. And I have the main information that I need, the news and the 5-minute and the 1-minute chart. I have active trader, so I have my positions and how I'm doing on all of them. It's pretty good. And today was not a great day. I was just playing around. I haven't put a lot of money in this account. I'm just trying to play around and see what's going on. Try to get used to the software, which has been taking me a long time. So hopefully soon I'll be adding more money to this and see how it goes. So, all right. So now you know my setup. And if you like it, or even if you don't like it, if you'd like to try up with some of yours, I'll show you how I created them. Just as a refresher, this is my main trading chart for one stock. I have a 5-minute chart here, I have a 1-minute chart here, and I have my daily chart here. And my news on the bottom, I have active trader, and I have level 1, and I have time and sales here. And they're all linked to the same color. So let's recreate this now from scratch. I'm going to click on this button here just to remove all the existing cells. That button, there's 3 buttons here. This one adds a new cell beneath the current one. This one adds it to the right, and this one deletes the current cell. This button over here shows the sidebar or not. It's not going to show a sidebar now because we don't have a ticker in the thing. So we won't worry about that right now. So for my layout, I have to split the screen in half vertically. I'll do that like that. This is going to be my 5-minute chart. On the bottom, I'm going to have the news. So let's click and add one on the bottom. And in fact, let's set that up right now. Let's get started by linking it to a color. We'll start with red. Give this red. And we'll turn off the chart here, and we'll turn on the news. And we'll keep this as a chart. Turn off the sidebars on both of them because we don't need the sidebars now that we've set this up. Move this over to the side a little bit. And now we're going to have 2 more charts here. We're going to have 2 more charts on the top here, and then we're going to have our active trader, level 2, and then time and sales. So let's start by splitting it horizontally, and then we'll split this one in half vertically. Both of these will be red. Keep this as is right now because these are both going to be charts, but we will turn off the sidebar, so we don't need that. And then we'll split this into 3. Make all of them. Make all of these red. Now this is big enough now that I can see the sidebar here, but just one thing to keep in mind is that if this is small, the sidebar kind of disappears. So then you would need to go into maximize cell by clicking this button here, go maximize cell, and then you could see the sidebar. And this one, I forget which one is it. I think this is going to be active trader. And then you can double click on top here is the quickest way to get in there. Yeah, and then turn off the sidebar. And then I'll just make this bigger for now because I have the room to do it. And this is going to be level 2, no chart. This will be time and sales, no chart. And there's no time and sales because it's kind of late at night now. This doesn't need to be that big, so I'll move it here, turn off the sidebar. This doesn't need to be that big either. And then we can make this bigger over here. You can also customize what buttons are on here. If I click on this here, I'll get more information. And this is my preferred setup. So click on this gear icon to bring up this window, and I'll take out some of these buttons. Cancel, reverse, flatten. And over here I'll put quantity because I don't want the quantity with the buttons. I just want the simple quantity. And I'm actually going to move that up to the top line because I want to be able to see the quantity. I'm going to add a buy bid button, and I'm just going to drag that up to the top here. Sell it ask button, move that there. Let's see, we have auto order template selector, auto send on and off. I like to have the time in force as well. There we go. And we're set. That's it. Let me just make this a little bit bigger so that I can get everything on one line there. I could actually make this a little smaller. Time and sales a little smaller. That'll do the same thing. And we have our layout pretty much set up. Let me make this a little smaller. Now, we're done with the layout, so we don't need this control in the middle. It's just blocking a lot of things. So if we go up to here and click on this customize grid checkbox, that's going to delete all, not delete, it's just going to hide all of them so we don't see them. Now, each chart here is the same chart, so 1 year, 1 day, which is not what we want. So let's go in and change them to the time frame we want. For this one, it's going to be stay 1 year, 1 day. This one, it's going to be 1 day, 1 minute. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit because I want to keep this I just want to have this be more visible. And for this one, I'm going to go into 5-day, 5 minutes. So it's going to be my 5-minute chart. So 5-day, 5 minutes, and I'm going to zoom in here too so I see about a day. And again, this is after hours right now, so that's mostly what we're going to be seeing. So this is my 5-minute, my main chart, my 1-minute chart, so I could see what's going on with the price action, and then my daily chart. Now, there's some more things I'm going to do to change this. I'm going to go into the chart settings for the yearly. I'm going to turn on some stuff, turn off some stuff. First thing I want to do is I want to overlap volume. Just to save some space. See what that does. That puts the volume on the same chart, just puts it a different color on the back, which gives us more room for the price. I want to show trades on this one, show high-low bubbles, show last price bubble, show studies, highlight studies, show orders. I don't need the orders on this one, so I'm just going to take that off. I want to synchronize crosshair position so that when the crosshairs are over 1, it shows them on all of them. Let's see, price axis, we already did that, but let's see, is there anything else we need to do? So fit high-low, fit orders, nope, don't need that. Fit studies, fit study markers, we don't really need this. So we're just going to apply that. It's just going to make the chart give a little more room for the price. On the time axis, we set up the times. So auto expand to fit studies. Don't really need that. I don't have any studies on there right now. So appearance, by default, it has hollow green bars. I like to have them filled, just my personal preference. So equities, show volume, make sure that's checked. Show extended hours trading sessions, and I do want to show corporate actions on here. And I like to have social sentiment on here as well, which I think is kind of neat. So that's it for that one. So let's hit OK. And then we're also going to add some studies. So let's go into, I have them saved, but let me just show you how you would do it. I like to use the moving average exponential. So I'm going to add 3 of them. Then I'm going to go into the first one, and this is going to be my 20 period moving average. And I'm going to set this one to like a light yellow color. The next one is going to be my 50. I'm going to set the length to 50. And this is going to be a light green color. And then we're going to add the 200 moving average, and this is going to be that blue color. We're just going to keep that the same. Hit apply, and there we go. We have our moving averages right there. And what you could do is then go into your studies, and then save study set, give it a name, and then you can load it to the other ones. And since I already have that done, I'm just going to do that here. So I'm going to load the EMA study set, same thing here, load study set, EMA. And I also do want to change these charts as well, and I'll show you how I like these. So for my daily chart, I don't need the orders or high-low bubbles. I do like show last price bubble. Actually, these settings are for all of them. I think, I don't know. I'm confused about this. Sometimes for some of these it does everything. For some of it doesn't. I don't know. It has these things affect all chartings, but I don't know if that's the case. So I want to overlap volume here. Appearance, same thing. Fill up. Make sure I have. I don't need corporate actions, but I do want extended hours on. I do want volume. If you do options, futures, and forex, you'll change any options you will here. I mostly do stocks, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit apply and see what that looks like. Right, and that's what I want to see. Now, in this chart, we're going to go into chart settings, overlap volume. Here I want to see orders, I want to see the studies, I want to see my trades too. I want to see alerts, price axis. Oh, one thing I forgot to do. On the time axis, let's see, anything on price axis, fit studies. Alright, so yeah, you could make changes how you want. This is how I like it. On this chart, there's this option on time axis, keep time zoom. So if I zoom in, the next time I load this chart up, it's going to be zoomed in as well. If I change the symbol, it's going to be zoomed in. I want to do the same on this one, which I forgot to do. So go to time axis, keep time zoom. For the yearly chart, I don't know why, I find it, I like it easier. Find it better if I just see the 1 year all at a time. Since this, I just have the 5-day set up, just so that if I want to scroll back, I can. But I'm mainly interested in just the 1 day. But if I want to see historical daily data, I have it right here, and I don't have to bring up another chart for it. And that's it. That's my setup. And if I want to buy stock, I hit buy market, sell market. I could enter something in here. I have my level 2 quotes. Oops, I forgot to turn off one of the sidebars, so I'll do that. Because my grid. Now the next step is to go in here and then hit save flexible grid as, and then you would give it a name. I name mine for DT for day trading hyphen, and then this would be 1 red. I already have it set up, so I'm not going to save it. Now, like I said, I have 9 of these, 1 for each color. What I would do is then I'd go and change this red to yellow, this red to yellow, all the reds, change them to yellow. Use, make sure you don't miss any of them. And then I would just go and hit save flexible grid, and I would give it a different name. I'd DT-2 yellow, and I would do that 1 for each one, and I'd have my single trade window set up. So let's do my 2-up one next, just to give you some more idea of how this works. Let me start by, let me move this out of the way. Reset this one. I'm going to show you a little trick to make it a little easier to set this up. So this is the window again. So I have top half, one color, bottom half, another color, all the same windows I had in. The other one just slightly different orientation. So let's delete all these but one, because we have top and bottom. This is going to be the one half, this is going to be the other. Start by splitting the screen, and this will be our 5-minute chart. Split this in half. Over here we're going to have top and bottom, so we click this button to split this top and bottom. And we're going to split this left and right, so we're going to do that here. Split this top and bottom as well. Do that, and split this bottom one left and right as well, so we click here. So let's give this, let's start doing this brown on all these, because you won't see the what do you call it? You won't see the menu unless you have a ticker in there. So if I already have something in brown, so if I just do this, I'll load the ticker and it will let me see everything here. So I don't need the sidebar here anymore, so I can turn that off. That's a chart. This is going to be also another chart. So this will stay as it is. I just need to turn it off. And again, this one's a chart. This one's going to be the news. So I can't see, because of the height of this, I can't see that. So let me just bring this up, and I'll turn this chart off, and I'll set this to news. And I can bring this back down. And then this one is going to be Active Trader. So I'll slide that down so I can see the menu. I'll turn on Active Trader. Slide this up so I can see these sidebars. Let me turn this one off before I forget. And this one's going to be level 2. This one's going to be time and sales. Turn off the sidebars now on all of them. Bring this down to a better height for these two and slide this to the side. Slide this to the side a little bit. There we go. We have our top half set up. Now we just have to repeat everything for the bottom half. And then I'll show you a trick to set up the charts really simple, because you'll notice the charts are not what we're looking for. So we start off, split this in half vertically. Try to line this up just to make it look nice. Set this to lilac, and there's going to be a chart. I can turn off the sidebar. Split this in half vertically, and then I could just set this to lilac. This is going to be a chart. Split it top. Oops, wrong way. Split it top and bottom. Then make this lilac. This will be a chart too. Split it to the right. Make it lilac. And bring it up so I can change this to news. And then bring it back down. Let me split this top and bottom so I know where the center is. Here we go. Turn off these sidebars. And this is going to be lilac. And this is going to be active trader. Bring this down so I can see the sidebar. And turn on active trader. Turn off the sidebar. Bring it up so I can see the bottom ones. And just split this left and right. Lilac on this one. Link this to lilac as well. And this is going to be level 2 with no chart. And this is going to be time and sales. And we can turn off the sidebar on these two. Bring this back down. And resize this. I'm not going to... There's no quick way to change all these buttons like I did on the first one. So if you want, just go back and look how I did it there. Let's pretend I did it because this is a little bit of a pain to do. Now I could go up here and I could turn off Customize Grid to get rid of these controls. Now we still don't have the charts where we want them, but there's a really quick way to fix that. So let me bring in... Oops. Wrong one. Let me just bring this in and change it to my daily. Okay, so I have this set up as my daily, and let me just make this small so you can see. Actually, what I could do is, oops, let me detach this. And I'll set this one up over here, and then I'll put the daily over here. So this, on this side, this half of the screen, is the new one we're just working on. And this is the old one. And let me just, you know what, let's make it obvious that this is something different. So this is the 5 minutes, this is a 1 minute, and this is the yearly. So if I right click on this, go to style, and set chart default, this is like copying the chart settings. And I hit yes. I can go here to the daily and go to style, right click on the chart, select style menu, and then reset to chart default. And this is like pasting the style. It's going to ask me if I want to do it. It's going to confirm. I just did it. Now see, it added the moving averages and set everything up the way I want it. Now we're going to do the 5 minute. Well, before we do that, let's just do this 1 year daily chart as well. Style, right click on the chart, hit style, and then reset to chart default. And then when it says reset, say yes. And it just changed it to how we want it. For the 1 minute, we're going to do the same thing. Style, set chart default. It's going to ask us if we're sure, and we're going to say yes. We're going to right click on the chart to bring up the menu, select style, and then select Reset to Chart Default, which is like pasting the current style. We'll do the same on this one. Right click, Style, Reset to Chart Default, Confirm Reset. Now we'll go get the 5-minute chart. Style, Set Chart Default, yes, and then Style, Reset to Chart Default, Reset. Do the same for the bottom. Reset to Chart Default. And we're done. So now we have our 2 different tickers that we could trade on the one window. Have the same controls, top and bottom, same views, but all the data is different because this one's linked to number 8 and the bottom is linked to number 9 on all the controls. Double check, make sure everything looks okay, and if it does, save the flexible grid, give it a name. For this one, I give it DT-2-up, and then I'll do 8, 9, and then brown, lilac. Save it. I'm not going to save it now because I already have these set up. And then if you want to set up the same one for another one, you'll just go and change this to all maroon. Right, you get the point. And then set the bottom to all purple, and then you'll save it as a different name. And then you'll have 2 different 2-up ones. And you can figure out how to do the 4-up one here. And just to show you, this is what my 4-up one looks like. Except I will be adding level 2 now that I find I can find room for it. It's a lot of data, but more data you have, the better, right? And that's it. So, all right. So we went over what linking is in ThinkOrSwim. I went over the plain charts, the flexible charts. I showed you my different day trading charts. I showed you how to create my day trading charts, at least the first 2, the 1-up and the 2-up, and then doing the second one is just basically the same thing, same type of things. I showed you how I like the settings for my charts, and if you want to set it up the same, you can do the same. And like I said, this is my first video for this channel. I don't have a ton of experience making videos. If you made it this far, throw me a like, because we both went through a lot of time. I would like you if I could, but I can't. Subscribe if you want to see more like this, and most important of all, leave a comment if you have anything to say. Tell me what you like, what you didn't like. Tell me more about how you do things. What's your setup like? Is there anything you would do differently? Anything you think I could do better? Like some of you, I'm still learning, so let me know what you think, and good luck with everything going on these days.